Yeah, I mean, we have the first Italian feature film.
Yeah, and the earliest surviving intact feature film.
Yeah, very significant, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is L'Inferno, or
L'Inferno. Yeah,
an adaptation of Dante's Inferno.
yeah. Um, yeah, I didn't love it. Um, I don't necessarily think it needed to be a feature. Um, but yeah, I mean, you can tell a lot of work went into this one, and
Yeah,
it does
I think it.
feel.
I think it took 2 years to shoot this movie.
Yeah. And it feels big. You know, like it feels um the scale of it definitely does feel um on a not necessarily bigger than other movies that we've seen, but I think the length combined with just what they're putting on screen does give it this the feeling of an epic,
Yeah,
which is cool.
yeah. This is based on Dante's Inferno. I haven't read the book, but
Neither have I.
basically, um, the reason why Glenn didn't love it is because this is pretty weak from like a structure and storytelling perspective, even though I think visually and vibe wise it's really cool. Um, because it's how long? It's an hour and 10 minutes long,
Mhm.
and the movie is basically um Virgil takes Dante into the Inferno, shows him one thing, shows him another thing, and then repeat for an hour and 10
Yeah.
minutes. Um, and so, yeah, it's very light on structure, and it's not like super challenging in any or adventurous in any way on that front. But I think if it weren't this movie, I would be incredibly bored by it. But the fact that it is so like spooky and and like dark and grim, I mean, it is based on Dante's Inferno. I enjoyed it a lot. It's like it's a vibe watching this movie.
For
This would
sure.
be one that would be good to have on in the background of a party.
Yeah, that is true. Um it's mostly vibe. And it does create some really wild imagery and just like, put some stuff on screen that you're like, "Oh damn, I didn't expect this."
Yeah, I mean
Um
it's a lot of darkness for something of this era too, like grim,
mhm.
dark theming and everything.
Yeah, like a lot of it uses both actual locations and some sets and sort of some combinations of the two. And some of the set work is really elaborate
Yeah,
and cool. It's full of smoke and like spooky like rock formations and things.
yeah. I mean, it's trying to like it does a good job creating an image of hell in front of you.
Yeah,
Um,
and definitely
uh,
at towards the beginning, you know, it's less surreal and it's less sort of hellish, and is a
hmm
bit more just sort of like, ah, there's just some people out in a field. Like this isn't that crazy. And then
right.
as he descends the you know the layers, it gets like more and more. You're like, oh, okay, I see where this movie's going now.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, I know this isn't super relevant, but I went to this last year just before the shutdown. I went to Singapore, and there is this place in Singapore called the Haw Par Villa, which is a theme park that was. Do you know the like Tiger Balm ointment? Um, it's like this kind of just ointment that you could put on, and like basically the
Made from real
it's
tigers.
uh yes, sure. Uh, but the family that that put it together, or that invented it, they're like super Buddhist, right? And so they made this like Chinese mythology and history slash like Buddhism education theme park, and the most famous section of their theme park is called the Ten Circles of Hell, which is uh which is apparently like basically every kid in Singapore like has a memory of being scarred by going to this exhibit at some point in their childhood, because it's describing just all of the various tortures that you'll go through for different reasons in Buddhist
Oh,
hell.
I remember. I believe I've seen pictures that you've shown me.
Yeah, yeah. It's so cool, but it's like very elaborate, you know. It's like, oh, for lying, you'll get sawed in half, and they have
Yeah.
like a diorama of somebody getting sawn in half. And they talk about Dante's Inferno in the exhibit of just like other depictions of hell in a sort of educational way, which I thought was really interesting. And this is the same sort of thing because each of the different vignettes in this movie are different types of sinners and depicting the ways that they're being
Yeah.
tortured, such as carnal sinners who are like in a tornado flying through the air of like human naked bodies. Um, there are gluttons who lie naked on the ground getting rained on their entire like in the mud or whatever. Uh, and then there are like suicides which become like tree people in hell, and like when their branches are cut, blood spews out. Like very very dark. Like I love the imagery in this
Yeah.
movie.
With all of those vignettes too, I think it's like you get through those, the obvious crimes that people
Yeah.
would do, and then it starts getting into stuff that is so specific and so like, almost just so like petty crimes that I'm like, are these? I haven't read Dante's Inferno, but it does seem like some of the crimes people are getting like eaten in hell for are just like, it's just Dante airing his personal grievances.
Oh, absolutely. That's something that I've heard about Dante's. Like one things that I know about Dante's Inferno is that yes, he was trying to scare people away from sinning and because they'll go to hell, but also there were like just all of these notable figures from Italy at that time that he just didn't like,
Mm.
and he just said, "Oh, they're in hell," you know, like he was just being extremely messy with this with this book.
But also, it's almost like the sins that people are getting punished for are so hyper specific that it's like, okay, like who did that annoyed you? It's like those, all the people who borrowed money from their brother-in-law and then didn't want to give it back, but then did give it back, but were like a dick about it. And then they went to the opera and they didn't invite their brother-in-law. I mean, they knew it was their favorite composer. All those people, they get fed to the fire snake. And that's like, okay, Dante, I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. You have anything else on this one?
Not really. I did the Rick Dalton thing and pointed at the screen when it says "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here."
Indeed.
I was like, it said the thing.